Yeah. Oh shit. Hold on. Let me put on the thing real quick. Anyways, what's up? How you doing, babe?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
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 Um, I just feel I was hearing yourself.
Feels good. Feels like I have a twin or something.
Probably a little bit too early for everybody right now, huh?
Yeah.
That's okay. Anyway.
So it's like yo, it is. Let me ask you something. Is there are they showing a lot of these shit going on over here on over there in Poland?
To be honest, I don't have a TV, so I don't know.
Hmm. Okay.
I
Well,
I have.
technically we do have technically we do have a TV. We just use it as a monitor.
Well, yeah, exactly. Um, so for Xbox, but um, I'm going to a birthday party tomorrow, so I'll probably have a chance to see what people are talking about and see if that
Okay.
there's
Okay.
most likely they're gonna put a spin on it like media does and turn it into writers and looters, completely discrediting the actual validity of the protest as they do, which is
Oh
why
yeah.
I which is why I was telling my friend on Facebook, I was like, I don't really agree with the riots. I mean, I understand why, but I don't agree with them because as soon as the riots start, that's when the media will spin it. They will spin it. And there is no way you can unspin it,
Mm.
you know?
Yo, isn't it kind of crazy? It's like it's always the same shit, rinse, wash, repeat.
Yeah.
Like this is the pattern that I see, right? Okay. Men kill. I mean, cop kill men, and then you have protests, and then you have people now that actually want to take advantage of the situation. They go riot, they go steal shit, and then now we end up just talking about these motherfuckers, and the
Hmm.
whole narrative just get lost in the process
Well,
because
yeah.
all this negativity just drawn out all the positivity, the thing that can actually make the real change about this thing.
Exactly. So you take it and you take what rioting does, right? This is, I think, why Martin Luther King was all about peaceful protest because what rioting does, and it always has done, okay, is spin the narrative to a point where the perpetrators are no longer the cops. Now the perpetrators are the rioters and the looters.
Yep. Yep.
So, and this has always happened. It's like I had a discussion with a friend of mine about the LA riots because he keeps saying, well, the LA riots, they brought attention. I was like, yes, but at what cost? So you exchanged, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wanted attention, you got attention, but what kind of attention did you get? Because before the LA riots, cops were not allowed to weaponize themselves as much as they are now. So all this militarization of the police that you see right now was a side effect that came from the LA riots. And because he's like, well, peaceful protest didn't help, stealing didn't help. I was like, yeah, but riots didn't help either. If you really want to go there, all right. LA riots, did they really help? No, they just brought attention to it. Okay. Baltimore, did it really help? No. Ferguson, did it really help? No, I'm not saying riots don't work. I'm just saying riots are a double-edged sword.
Well, this is the thing about it too, though, right? Because like once you start in the violent path, then these officers or the police state, that's all they know how to handle that. They
Yeah.
love that shit,
Yeah.
because it's like when you allow the pressure to build up slowly, right? You don't let up, and then now they it's like having a sore. It's like having a pimple up your ass or something like that, right? And then it keeps irritating you. So there's a difference between making life inconvenient for, let's say, with traffics, with businesses, with a whole bunch of other crap,
Mm-hmm.
versus now you just blow shit out of proportion, and then now it only escalates to violence, and then police now feels the need, that adrenaline. They'll be like, yeah, now we can do what needs to be done. We can do what we're trained for.
Yeah.
versus, so if they're the one that actually, they come through and they escalate the violence on the peaceful protest, then that's when you get the side effect of, Martin Luther King. You see the pictures of the dogs and the, black people all being hoes and all this stuff, right?
Police remain the bad guys.
Exactly. The police remains the bad guy. But when you see the pictures of dudes going into the stores and actually stealing TVs and stuff like that, that doesn't help justice for Floyd.
They're reclaiming their reparations, though.
All right. See, now this is the thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Listen, there is a time and place for a riot, absolutely. I think the protesters, original protesters, had it right. And what they did is they put pressure, they continued to put pressure, they stood outside of the cop's home. And then whenever, like, the cop was trying to, because, he was in the house, he couldn't leave the house. So they were like order food and stuff. And then the protesters would basically stop they seized his house.
Yep. Hold on a second.
And that was the right way to do it. Basically, constantly keep the attention on the cop. And you know what? And it's funny because there's a lot of reports coming out now. I don't know how valid they are, right? I'm not going to claim that they're truthful or they're not truthful, okay? But there's a lot of reports coming out that are saying that the initial riot was started by some undercover police officers.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes
sense. Here, this is my point, right? All right, check this out. This is how I started this conversation with my boy yesterday. So, he picked me up, and then he had to go downtown somewhere and shit like that, right, to do something. And then this fucker make an illegal U-turn, right? And then bragging about his driving skills and shit, how he got the good handle or whatever, right? So I was like, you wouldn't be so happy if your ass got a ticket now, right? And he was like, I ain't gonna pay that shit. Fuck him. That's for my boy George Floyd. I started laughing because it's like, I mean, and he was like kind of serious about it too, because it's almost as if like the death of the men now gives them a free pass to do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I feel like a lot of people, especially the rioters, right? A lot of these rioters, they are using the death of a man, which I don't think they really give a fuck about, nor they care that much to actually now take advantage of the stressful situation. And for them to be like, well, fuck it, I can act a fool now because somebody did something wrong. It's almost as if like, okay, if somebody break into your car, let's say 2 days ago or 3 days ago, then you will be pissed off. So then are you still not allowed to be pissed off if somebody actually come through and burn your car or steal your shit now? Because, now they have an excuse, George Floyd. And it's like, how does that have to do with, the death of the men? Now, it seems petty versus breaking down businesses versus someone that died. It seems petty to make the comparison between the two. But however, it almost make it feel like if the narrative a lot of these people try to spin is that if you are against rioting, you are somehow, you are somehow for the killing of George. Be like, dude, why can I be against both?
Yeah.
Do I have to choose between two wrong? No, fuck that. The riot is wrong because these people are being the aggressor. The businesses that they are, the businesses that they are destroying are in the black community, which they are employing black people. So who gets the loss? Your black ass. And then you also have like the small businesses. They're the one that's not gonna be able to go back to the hood and build businesses because what you motherfuckers be complaining about. Oh, these black people, they don't build our community. They just left and they don't like. Why the fuck you think that happened? Because when shit like that happen, you're not going to the white neighborhood and create chaos. No, because these dudes got guns.
It's not even that. It's also the fact that because the neighborhood, especially if such rioting occurs regularly or multiple times, what happens is the insurance companies will no longer cover the small business. The big business like Walmart and Target and so on, they can afford the insurance policy.
Yeah,
but a small
exactly.
business,
yeah,
just I don't understand like brand newly built low income housing, which is what such neighborhoods need. got burned down and destroyed. How do you expect to build generational wealth if you keep burning it?
Yo, this is exactly why I got so pissed off, right? Because like I said, I was talking to my boy, and then he started going on about, yeah, you know what, they need to burn the whole fucking city down. Like we need to make a statement. And then I'm like, I'm trying to say something, but he keep going like, no, Art, you're not gonna change my mind about this. And then after that, I just kind of went off. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Do you want the state to look like Haiti? You'd be like, what the fuck you mean? I'm like, dude, that's the fuck happen every time shit goes down in Haiti, right? There's a protest, they're afraid of, they're mad at the government, and what the fuck these fuckers do? They go through, they burn shit, they burn down hospital, they burn school, they burn a whole bunch of stuff. And guess what? Now they're the same one complaining about like, oh, our government don't want to build nothing for us. They are corrupt, they are this. Can you fucking blame them? It's like, okay, you could have a good president, right? And for a term. Come through, just use the country's GDP, build some school, build some hospitals and all that stuff. And then the next fucker that's after him is corrupt. And then now the people are mad. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to burn the stuff that the previous president have built for them. And then now it's like, instead of progressing, you constantly having to wash your hand and just wipe it in the dirt. And that's exactly what's going on in these communities. When you riot, you think you're making a statement. No, you are destroying the thing.
You are making a statement. You are making a statement.
Mm-hmm. But that statement, well, you know what that statement says? That statement says, I'm angry, and then I'm going to forget about it the next day. It needs to be consistency.
It's righteous anger directed badly. Right? The anger that they're feeling is righteous, but there is no vision behind it. There is no long-term plan, no organization, no structure to how you're going to go about it together, organized to make, to make a change. All it seems the focus is, let's make a statement. Let's bring attention to it. Okay. And what then? That's the thing you're missing. What then?
Exactly. I mean, it's like listen.
It's like, I'm sorry I'm going to use this analysis, but it's like a petulant child, okay, who is angry and frustrated, rightfully so, because the parent isn't listening. And then so the child throws a temper tantrum, destroys its room, and then you have one of two parents. You have a parent, one of three parents. You have a parent that gets angry at the child and goes extra militant.
Yep.
And extra strict, which is usually what the government does. Okay. Or you have a parent that's like, oh, I hear you. This is the lefty, right? This is the opposite side of the government, or the opposite side of the NGOs and the movement. I hear you. I understand. I'm so sorry. And that's it.
Yeah.
Words of nothingness. Okay. And then you have the third parent that says, okay, I understand that you're frustrated. Now, what can we do together to change it so this doesn't happen again?
Yep.
That's what's missing. And I don't understand this idea that are you really expecting for the white people to come in and be like, I understand, you have my attention, what can I do to change it now?
Now, speaking of that, this is exactly why I named the title, we should stop making it about black and white. We should stop making it about race. Because this is the pattern, right? So, all right. Whenever we have to ask ourselves, why is it the media always make a huge deal when it's a white cop that killed a black person? But whenever a white cop kills a white person, or a cop kills a white person, that should get swept under the rug.
It's a form of control.
It is a form of divide and conquer. Because it's like, whenever that happened, right, you show the face of a black person being killed by the white cops. And then now that image in your head gets repeated over and over and over and over again, right? To create that frustration, to create that anger. And what tends to happen now on social media, even though white people will agree with you, especially when the killing is done. I'm not even talking about the conservative that try to make excuses, which we're gonna talk about that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But I'm talking about like white people that are genuine, that see this shit, they're like, oh, this is fucked up. Oh, this cop needs to go to jail, right? They agree with you. However, when they go through those social media and they see posts like, yeah, fuck white people, yeah, they all need to die, they need to now, how long do you think they're gonna stop stepping back and be like, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to associate with a group that actually want to see me die, and that's how they start feeling, because now, even though the anger is frustrated, but it's being directed at the wrong people. So when my boy was saying that, well, yeah, they burn some precincts too, they be burning cop car and all that shit, I'm like, good, all right. I mean, I should say that. I mean, I can understand that part, but you burning hospitals, my nigga? Like you building like mom and pop shops? That's where you want to direct your anger at? You're stealing TVs and shit, And also, this is the thing that pissed me off too, right? And I was telling him, I'm like, dude, Haiti can act just as ignorant as these people, as African and some of these African Americans.
It's not just African Americans though. There's a lot of white lefties.
Yeah,
in that house.
Exactly. Like everybody can get that ignorant. However, what I was saying was like, where was that energy when the thing was being done right there in front of your face? Like, where was and did you not throw at least a sandal at these motherfuckers? Get them distracted to get off to get off of Floyd.
Okay. See, do you mind if I interrupt you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know why they don't react violently or even defensively when they're watching it happen live? Instead, they're just recording it. Because also the media who keeps showing the Black people being killed by the police, not only does it stir up anger, it also stirs up fear and this feeling of helplessness. Because how can we stand up against them? They keep killing us. We can't. And that's also part of the psychological play. That's why a lot of times the anger comes in after the fact, not during. That's why a lot of times, the people protesting and saying no more, that's enough, stop it, are coming in after they watched it on video. But when they're watching the cops holding down a man, and there's more of them than there is of the cops, and nobody thinks to just step in and just take the cop off of his neck. Because they see the uniform, they see the weapons, they fear it.
And this is the thing that frustrates me, right? All these so-called quote unquote gangsters. Right? Like this is my philosophy. This is my perspective in life. Like, if you are
nothing, okay?
No, I'm not gonna say anything that's gonna incriminate me and shit like that, right? But my point is this: like, if I'm being killed by someone with a badge and stuff like that, right? Or whatever's happening to George Floyd, and then none of you dudes step up, and none of you guys step up to at least like put on some pressure to kind of like get this dude off of me and shit. So if you're not willing to risk your freedom to help me live, then I don't want you to look, I don't care about you risking your freedom to steal a brand new TV. I don't care about you risking losing your freedom to burn shit down after I'm gone. You should have done that shit when it was happening. Anything other than that, I don't care. I mean, I'm already dead, so and that's the thing that's frustrating, because like, okay, so now you want to riot, now you want to act the fool, now you want to do this, now you want to do that, and now it kind of drown out the voices of the people that can make the changes. And this is why I think we should stop making it a black and white issue, because the same emotion that you can rile up when you're actually showing a black person being killed by the cops, you can also have this, riled up the same emotions when you're showing white people being killed by cops. Because at the end of the day, people don't really care as much as you think. They may seem they do. They can sympathize with you, but they don't care as much unless it's happening to people that looks like them. Case in point, what happened to the war on drugs? The changes didn't start occurring until the opioid crisis really hit white America. And when you're looking at statistics, right, there's a lot of white people that's being killed by cops as much as black people. All right. However, because they do not show that, because it's not in your face, so then all these voices, they go unnoticed. All these voices, they go silent. So if you want to get the people angry, you also got to get white people angry as well, because they're the one with all the guns. They're the one who can actually really make some changes. But if you want to separate it just as a black and white shit and stuff like that, right? And then white people, yep. And white people might be like, "Oh, this is messed up. I'm sorry this happened to you," and stuff like that, right? And then they move on about their days, right? And because as soon as they start seeing all this chaos around them, their cities being burned and all this shit, guess what? They're gonna now start siding with the same oppressors, quote unquote, these bad cops, to save them. Be like, "Oh, help me from this evil black man."
And this is happening. You have the white sympathizers who are like, "Oh, that's so sad," And at first, in the beginning, they were taking a stand. They're saying that they were putting pressure on our government, on your government, to like, no, this needs to change. That was murder.
Yeah.
At least manslaughter, right? But that's abuse of power, right? And then now that the protests are happening, now there's more and more of the conservatives coming out, the racists.
Yep.
Having, feeling like it's okay for them to talk a whole bunch of shit. And one of the campaigns that I have noticed happening is that there's a lot of people exposing the racists for what they are with the comments. So like when they make a bad comment and they make a really racist statement, there is a lot of people sharing screenshots and exposing them. And I think that is the right way to do it. Yeah. And it's actually something that I have said when I said, one thing I really hate is, this is why I personally am politically homeless, right? Because I do not like the leftist policy, right? Maybe back in the day, but now I don't like the leftist policies because they don't make sense, right? But I also don't like how so many people on the right use the excuse of free speech to spread their hatred. No? And something that I have also pointed out is actually, I'm going to have to read you this post that I left on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where I said the same people demanding the right to free speech and the right to bear arms seem to always forget the right to a fair trial whenever a black person is killed by the police.
Yep.
I have one simple question. Which Bill of Rights states that the police have the right to play the role of judge, jury, and executioner? Because if I'm not mistaken, there is a right of the accused to have a fair and speedy trial. And all this time, they're executing people without giving them that right.
See, and this is the funny part, right? This is one of the things that pissed me off about a lot of these conservatives is when a black person is being killed, right? Wrongfully. Take George Floyd, take Admir, take that dude that got killed by Zimmerman, right? Or Tamir Rice or whatever. Every time that shit's happening,
I think little boy.
Oh yeah, Tamir Rice was the one that was with the toy gun
in the park, right?
Or in the park, yep. And the one that, Trayvon, right? You take all these people. The first thing they want to do now, they want to do a criminal background, as if that should, anything that they find out about these people, that's justification enough to excuse the behavior of what happened to them.
They're doing the same thing with Mr. Floyd.
Yep. And which is like, and some conservative channel that I watch, I like them. But however, whenever they start going through that route, it starts to piss me off. Because it's like, you don't have the same energy when it's a white person that got killed by the cops. You don't. As a matter of fact, the lady that kept her salon, that reopened her salon, that actually defied the judge and all this other shit that went to jail. Oh, she was a fucking hero, right? But the same justice system was oppressing her the same way that they are oppressing. And then this is how the violence go in increment, right? You have the economical violence, to which they stopping you from making a living. They're stopping you from doing certain things. And now the people that were in the position to which they can, afford a lawyer, so they are now being economically disenfranchised, right? So you have the economical violence, and then now you have now the physical violence, and that's being done towards the minorities, those who already cannot afford lawyers, those who already, like, their image has already been tarnished as to, they deserve it. So then they get to attack that. And the people that still have a lot to lose, they now step back. They don't want to say anything. They don't want to rock the boat because, like, oh shit, wow, that's not happening to me. It's happening to them. Look at how they reacted. Look at how they burning down stuff. So therefore, I want to sympathize with them, but hey, we need the cops. We need the evil.
Wendell brought up a really good point when he was having a discussion with one of those white supremacist dudes. Or maybe he wasn't a supremacist, but whatever, doesn't matter. That's what I'm gonna call him because it just wasn't making sense. When the guy's like, see, this is why the black people get treated the way they do, because look at them rioting over this, right? And then Wendell brought up a really good point when he said, well, white people riot over a fucking lost game.
Yes, I know, and that's exactly why we need to make some of the, and this is exactly why we need to make some of those faces of when white people are being killed by cops, we need to make them famous just as much. Because that's when you're going to see a riot.
It's really interesting when you bring that up, because when I watched the video of George Floyd being killed by the police officers, the first thing that it reminded me of was Kelly Thomas. I don't know if you remember, but in 2011, there was a schizophrenic white homeless man that was brutally beaten by police officers in Fullerton, California. Kelly Thomas. And he was beaten. So, the one that was screaming for his dad.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember. And he was beaten into a coma and then passed away, 5 days later or something? So it's like when I heard the video, when I heard Mr. George, basically pleading for his life, that's what it reminded me of, because it's the same thing.
Yeah, it was the same thing.
And this nonchalant way that this fucking, I can't even call him a human, all right? The cop that just sat there on his neck. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. That wasn't human.
No, it wasn't.
And I don't care what his criminal past is. It doesn't matter. There is this thing called the right of the accused. Yeah, be careful not to show too much because you're going to get blocked by you. But yeah, that's Kelly Thomas.
Yeah. But see, these are the faces that also need to be seen on social media everywhere. Because it was the same, because all right, we want to make it seem like black people way too emotional, right? And I get that part. We can be, we can be too emotional. We're prone to anger, but we don't have the consistency. We don't have the discipline.
Anger is righteous anger, though.
Yeah, I know. Listen, it is righteous anger, but I think as a whole, black folks, we lack the discipline to direct that anger to make the positive change that is necessary, because we have too many useful idiots that keep fucking shit up, and then that keeps steering the conversation where it doesn't need to go. Yeah. Right. However, if you need to make changes happen, we need to stop playing in the divide and conquer shit.
Yes, I understand. But here's my issue with what you said, okay? When you said we need to start showing the white people being killed by cops as well. I don't understand why we need to differentiate. I don't understand, why does a white person need to be reminded that white people get killed by police also in order for him to actually feel some empathy for another human being? It doesn't make sense to me. Also, simultaneously, why is it that when a black person gets killed, all of a sudden, a lot of white people go with the what about it? Well, what about all the white people that are dying? Yes, just like they deserve, better treatment, so do the black people being killed. I don't understand this idea of, well, what about these people when well, how come,
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Here's why.
it me angry because I don't understand it. If
Okay.
I have empathy for a human being, I really don't care what skin color they have.
Yes, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, babe. Right? We need to break the monopoly on victimhood, because it's like it's almost like this, right? Whenever white people bring about, well, what about all these white people being killed by cops? They bring that up because it seems like white people are not allowed to be victims. White people are not allowed to be sympathizing because, quote unquote, they are, on top, right? So there's no sympathy goes their way. However, they do have certain what certain privilege that they lack, and when it comes to victim, they actually gain that privilege elsewhere. So which means that they are less afraid of the police. As a matter of fact, shit, they're the one who call the police the most. So, but now when they talk about the whataboutism, because when they have their family members being killed by the police, they don't get no sympathy from the media. They don't get none of that stuff being played to them. So all they become is just a number, and then they move about their business, right? However, when they come to the lawsuit, when they try to sue the cops or whatever the case may be, sometimes they would win, and they get that money. So they get compensated for the loss of life. Black people, on the other hand, we don't get compensated for the loss of life for the most part. So then what we are allowed to do, we're allowed to be angry. We're allowed to play the victim. We're allowed to riot. We're allowed to actually do certain shit. And then now nothing gets done. So the people that are in charge, what end up happening is because of the violence, they now end up getting more power. So when a lot of people were being, okay, think of how united the country was when it comes to being frustrated about the lockdown. Everybody wants shit to open up, right? The pressure was slowly building up. White people were getting arrested for disobeying the law. They were getting fined and all this shit. So that anger, when it would have exploded, everyone would have get it. So then when that thing happened with George Floyd, and as you remember, it wasn't just about George Floyd. There was Omri before that, and before that there was someone else. And it's always about trying to goat people. Yep. So it was always about goading people to divide and conquer.
I think yesterday or in the last couple of days in California, the police shot a blind man.
Are you serious?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm live on Facebook, and so I've only seen a clip where they were trying to resuscitate him. So
wow.
You can't be surprised why. There's something going on with the training of the police that's failing. Because these cops expect regular civilians to have more control than they do, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But anyway, let me finish what I was saying, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're going to talk about the training thing in a bit. But now imagine if you guys ever read the 48 Laws of Power, right? The 48 Laws of Power is that when you know something's about to happen, right, you have to find a way to make your opponent, act prematurely. So then, therefore, you get to control the narrative. So if we're looking at the police state versus the population, right, the anger is brewing. People are unhappy with the lockdown. People are unhappy with a lot of shit, how things going on, right? So then now, boom, you have like three things that hit simultaneously. You have the Omri with the jogger, and then you have another lady that got killed in her house, and then plus now you have Floyd. So all these anger is like simultaneously, and then now the people that's already been frustrated with the lockdown, so that give them the outlet to they just burst out, right? So all this crazy stuff going on now, and then you kind of divide the forces of the people that are angry at the government, or white versus black. And then, when you go online, all you see is like, F these racist white people, blah, 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 in one end. And then the other end be like, yeah, well, look at how the way you guys are acting like fools. That's why you deserve to get killed. So they start to fight among themselves. And the cops are looking at it like, oh, that was close. Now let's bring the military in. And then boom, congratulations.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yep, congratulations. Now the lockdown has been extended further. You know, and they win. They fucking win. And that is brilliant. And like when I'm looking at these things, right? The reason why I don't look at it from an anger perspective is because I love to see the pattern. I love to see the way things get played. And it's like I'm seeing it as a chess move. And I know it's very narcissistic of me and stuff like that, right? And it feels like, you know, I'm not prone to anger that quickly.
I don't think it's narcissistic per se. I think it's stoic.
Yeah. So I can appreciate a good chess move. And I'm sorry, this, my friend, was an awesome chess move.
No, I mean, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing new.
Oh, I think, hey, Steven want to get in. So you want to, hey, let's get Steven in real quick. But I want you to finish your point first.
Yes. Okay. So, I have seen a few police officers actually speak out on this, on what's been going on, and speak out against it. Right?
Yep.
In our Facebook group, I actually posted something because, you know, I've just been sitting here reading some of the stuff that the police said. You know, it's not acceptable. The role of the police is to protect life, not to take it, and it feels almost scripted.
Oh yeah, they're full of shit.
It feels almost scripted. So this is what I wrote. Okay, this is the post that I wrote along. I mean, I'm sharing what the police are saying because that needs to be. I mean, obviously that needs to be, you know, shown as well. But this is what I wrote in response to saying some of the police officers and what they're saying. Okay, because it feels to me like they're saying the same thing. Is as soon as this is you know, as soon as everything goes back to normal, we need to start retraining again. Blah blah blah. It feels like fucking lawyer speak.
Yep.
The same thing that Starbucks said after, you know, it's been caught being racist or whatever. So this is what I wrote. I said, police are finally taking a stand. I wonder, though, is it because they too have finally had enough? Or just for the optics to make it seem like it's an isolated case? Nah, boys. Until you stop your fellow coppers from committing these atrocities, you all will be considered complicit to the crime and accessory to it. No more should the people allow you to stand above the law you have sworn to uphold.
Exactly. And this is why I said they're full of shit. I said they're full of shit because the cop that, you know, that spoke out before any of that shit happened, the cop that spoke out, he lost his job. He didn't get that job back. I forgot his name. I think he you know, he's ex-military and stuff like that, right?
Oh, the one that spoke up and said that, you know, the cops during the lockdown are doing too much.
Exactly, right? And the same officers, when they're just following orders and stuff like that, and they're not taking into consideration the rules that they are being ordered to break down. For example, the right to peacefully assemble. You know, they're the one that's going through and breaking these things up. So you actually already violating the Constitution since the lockdown started. I mean, shit, even before the lockdown started, because all you are is a talking drone, and then you end up doing all these things. And until it gets too far, until someone actually went too far, and all of a sudden, like, oh, well, that's not us. We're the good guy. No, shut the fuck up.
If I'm not really mistaken, the right of the accused is also part of the Bill of Rights. That's part of the Constitution. So by executing people in the street before they even have a chance to stand trial, that itself is unconstitutional.
Yep.
Or am I wrong in that interpretation? I mean, I might be wrong. But
it is unconstitutional. You know, like you have the right to face your accuser. You have the right to the Fifth Amendment. You're not supposed to snitch on yourself, and all these other things that happen. But because less and less people know they're right, and less people can afford a lawyer, and now it gives a lot of these folks free range to do certain things because they can get away with it. And also, you have a certain status or statute that's being implemented in state laws and local government, to which it makes it even easier for the cops to keep violating those rights. Like, for example, there's this recent the cops don't even have to no longer have to announce themselves before they break into your house.
What?
And yeah, I don't remember which state that wanted to implement that. So which means now the reason they give is, well, because if they went in there and it gives their announcement might give people a chance to destroy evidence. However, if you break into my house, I don't know who you are, and you don't announce yourself, and then therefore I have a weapon, I'm defending myself.
You have the right to defend yourself in your own property.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then they don't understand, like, not only you are putting the people's lives in danger, you are also putting the cops' lives in danger.
Yeah. I guess if the cops go in with protective gear, then they're safer.
Yeah, but still, it's just.
I wonder if that's why that if I'm not mistaken, the case with Breonna Taylor was where the cops
showed up unannounced
into the wrong house. I mean, I might be getting the information wrong. So if other people know what's going on, know the actual story, please let us know. But showed up unannounced and killed her, and I think her
boyfriend shook back.
Her boyfriend or her husband, I'm not sure, or family member, started shooting back, and I think he got arrested.
Yeah, I think he got released now, but
yeah,
I think he was injured.
I think I will need to do more research on that case because that it's setting precedent.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
People are saying, huh?
And that's the thing, though, like power, if it's being taken too drastically, then that's when you have a blowback. And it's always have to take an increment.
They cannot keep taking power unchecked. And this is why, like, I think when people saw what happened to Mr. Floyd, more and more people on social media were saying, you guys, they need to, there is, a lot of times when young Black boys get arrested and charged heavily, the excuse is it's a deterrent to stop other young Black boys from committing these crimes. But when you release these police officers who execute people on the street without due process, and you don't do anything to these police officers who do that, then you are setting a precedent, and there is no deterrent for more police officers to do the same.
Exactly.
And then all we have is criminal fucking TV shows where the hero police officers are the ones who break the police laws.
Yeah, they break the police law to get shit done. And then they make it seem like it's okay. You run up in somebody's house.
It's heroic.
Yeah, exactly. And this is my argument when it comes to black on black crime, right? Because that's usually the go-to. That's usually the go-to argument whenever we discussing about some of these things. Yes, I get it, the whole black on black crime. However, when like a black murderer get caught doing the crime, he goes to prison. So I want the same type of shit that's going on when a police officer gets caught doing the crime.
Yes.
He needs to go to, he needs to be tried. He needs to go to prison. Set the fucking example.
There needs to be a deterrent created so more police officers uphold the law that they swear to do. Just because they are sworn to uphold the law does not make them above the law. They should be of what happens when you follow the law.
Exactly. And that is my problem. That is my issue. It's not about black and black crime. Is it an issue? Yes, it is a huge problem. However, whenever you give that justification for these officers or anybody to think that, it's okay to now, if I kill a black person, I can get away with it because look at the way they treat each other. Then it's not okay. It's not any sort of justification.
It's kind of a stupid argument as well, because what you're saying is these civilians should be able to control themselves and know better. Unlike these cops who have the training, who have the responsibility to be the example, then they don't have to have the control. And they don't have to know better. Because it's just another day in the job and they just made a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Let me hey, I'm gonna send Steven an invite and stuff like that. And then I'm over. By the way, guys, I'm over my sister's house and stuff like that. We're just chilling and everything. So I'm not gonna be in for a long ass time. So we're gonna have this discussion later on tonight, but actually not tonight. No, some other time. But I'm just gonna invite Stephen and Ro. You know what? As a matter of fact, hold on a second. Stephen, listen, we can actually have this discussion another time because I'm not gonna stay in for long, and because I got a lot of stuff to do. So let me finish this conversation with SyriEyeS, and then after that, we can schedule something else and we talk about this further. Would that be all right with you, my dude? Yeah, of course it's gonna be all right. It's my fucking platform. Shit. Yeah, all right. But anyway, so now talking about the conservative, right? I think we covered that already. Is when they start looking for background criminal activities of the people that got killed, and in a way to like kind of excuse what's going on, but they don't really talk about the complaint that these cops tend to have, you know, when they're actually breaking the law. Because I'm sure a lot of them, when you follow their patterns, right? Some of these cops that do these things, they tend to leave a paper trail of complaint. They either
no, they do talk about it, but they excuse it. They say, well, just because there's a lot of complaints put in on the police officer doesn't mean, you know, anyone can file a complaint for anything.
Yep. Oh my God. See, that's the hypocrisy I can't stand. I hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, and this is where tribalism comes into play, because nobody wants to admit, okay, well, you know what? I know I'm a pro cop type of person, but there's no excuse for this behavior. Same thing, like, you know, I'm a pro black type of person, but there's no excuse for these behaviors. You know, it's all about being able to hold your own side accountable.
Mm-hmm.
While you can still actually have a stand, where you can still stand for something, and yet still, you know, being able to hold your own accountable and shit like that. And that's my only issue with a lot of these folks. Yeah,
it's like, I'm not against police officers. I think we need police officers, but we need police officers that are the epitome of the laws that they are sworn to protect. They're the epitome. They exemplify what they expect the civilians to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that. You know, it's like the police officer that you mentioned earlier, who got fired for speaking up, saying, you know, you guys are pushing too hard, you're going too far. You know, is that why did he get fired? He said what everyone else can see.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, why do police officers protect these creatures?
These bums.
All they do, all these people do, these cops that, like the ones that were on the video with George Floyd, all they do is they just destroy the people's respect and trust in the police.
Yeah.
And and you're protecting them.
Mm-hmm. Because this is the thing, right? Like, the state holds a monopoly on violence, right? And when it comes to violence or enforcement to someone else, we transfer that power to a third person. Like, for example, that's why we don't seek out street justice. Street justice tends to create a style of anarchy in a society, and that cannot function. And you know, this is what's going on in Haiti. This is what's going on in a lot of third world countries, where the state doesn't have any type of control or governments on the people that it rules over. However, now
there's no trust in the state.
Exactly. So, and that's what's gonna keep occurring. Why you think, like, the cops, you know, black people don't like to call the cops on their neighbors, because they don't apply the same standard that they would on, let's say, urban families. I mean, not urban families, like middle class families and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you will come through, let's say you report a crime, like this girl that got that on the salon, that black girl, like she was 21 something or 22 years old on the salon, and then called the cops on some people that robbed her, and then these people, they get bailed out, they come back and blew her brains out. Yeah. Right. So therefore, it's like the risk of involving involving cops in your dispute, especially in the urban community and stuff like that, it doesn't seem to be beneficial. And granted, we hold all the campaign of stop snitching, that plays a role in it as well. But
Yeah,
however,
cops have the same exact fucking policy.
yeah.
So
However,
that policy okay in the police force, but not okay in a regular community.
yes, but however, now when you stop losing faith on the people that's supposed to actually seek justice for you on your behalf, then you start taking things down on your own. Look at
Yeah.
all these not marshals. How do you call these people? They,
I'm
you
not
know,
sure.
they
So you have to beat around the bush until I get it.
okay. You know the one that were protecting the stores. They have their guns and all that stuff. They're like, well,
Oh, the militia.
yeah, militias. Yeah, like look at the militia. The militia is like a perfect example of what would happen if, let's say, the state failed. They would take over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what the Black Panther used to be for the Black community.
Yep. But this is the thing. So all these conservatives will say, well, what about black and black crime? Well, maybe black on black crime would be minimized if the police officers actually worked with the black neighborhoods to help rather than just killing them.
Mm.
Because like you said, they don't involve the police in their disputes because it's not beneficial. How many stories have we heard over the years of someone calling the police because they're being attacked and the police actually arresting them?
Listen, I'm not surprised. All right, but however, this is my point, right? Because we're not gonna stay for long because my sister's gonna be doing some cooking and all that crap. But my point is this: it's okay to be against the riots and also be against the killing of Floyd at the same time.
Yep.
You don't have to choose between the two. They both wrong. They both fucked up. They both use force and aggression in order to get what they want.
Especially if it is true, and I'm not claiming it's true, but especially if it was the cops that started the riots in the first place.
Mm. Yeah. So I think next time when we have a conversation, we need to talk about whether or not we should have more Black people try to join the police force or more minorities joining the police force, and also to, I don't know, have more discussion, not from a race bait perspective, but from a, like, you know, the people versus the power of the states, I guess. I think that's
power. I like that.
Yeah, the people versus the power of the states, because that is what is forever growing. And then whenever we turn it into a black and white issue, then
it's only because they're taking the power away from the people.
Exactly.
But eventually, what's going to happen is, eventually that rubber band is going to snap, and people are going to take that power back violently. Mm-hmm. And this is why. Okay, now I'm going to put on my conspiracy hat, and I'm going to say something. Right.
All right.
This is what makes me think that it is possible, because there has been tension growing between China and the U.S., right?
Yeah.
To a point where we are damn near close to a war with China and the U.S., okay? Now, it has been proven that Chinese propaganda has been propagated in colleges.
Yeah, colleges, social media, all that stuff.
SJWs where most of the SJWs have gathered. So it is possible, okay, now I'm going out there, but it is possible that, like someone has said, in order for a country to win a war with the U.S., the only way to do it is to start from within and spark a civil war. And that's what might be happening right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because a united front in the U.S. where, like, all the minorities and all the white people and everybody, when the people unite, no country could win a war with the U.S.
That's true.
I don't think so. But when they're divided the way that they are and they're fighting within, no country even has to raise a fucking finger. Because it's Roman. you know. But that, like I said, that's a way out there conspiracy that I'm just entertaining. It doesn't mean there's, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. See, dude, we got so much to talk about because this is what we gotta do. Right? We gotta schedule something, and this is what I want us to discuss in our next discussion. Right. I want us to talk about the role that interracial couples and interracial families play in a way to keep this country from having a race war. I think that's gonna be an awesome discussion. And I also want us to talk.
Well, can we? I won't be able to do it tonight because I have to be up really early tomorrow. Cause it's my grandmother's 90th birthday, so I've got an early party to go to. But I could do it tomorrow night.
Okay, we could try that.
We could do it tomorrow. Well, yeah, tomorrow night. I could definitely.
All right, so yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll talk further about it and stuff like that. Sorry, Steven, we didn't get your ass in today, but we're gonna make this quick and all that stuff. So yeah, I think there's a lot we can discuss, but we get to talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to add in before we bounce?
The police cannot hold the civilians to a higher standard than they hold themselves when they're the ones with the training. So I think what people need to start focusing on is what kind of training are these cops receiving? Mm-hmm. That they, that this is happening. I already know why they get away with it because that's got to do with the justice system and their lawyers. Okay. So that's a whole nother story. And I think that is going to change over the years because there's more and more Black people entering the justice system, forms of lawyers, judges, etc., which is great. As long as, it's great. But training, what kind of training are these cops receiving that gives them the right to do that gives them the belief that this is okay? Mm-hmm. That's something that people need to start paying attention to, as well as something else that one of your friends brought up, Dwayne. He said, every time a police officer is caught killing someone, right after, they should do a drug test on him. Right after. Mm. Because are these guys on drugs? What's going on? There is something going on that needs to be addressed. Yeah. I personally think they're taking steroids, but that's just my assumption, so I'm not putting any claims. But there needs to be new procedures put in place. There needs to be a revamping of the training because it's obviously not working. There needs to be a revamping of the hiring. There needs to be more scrutiny of the police officers and the police force and
dude, listen.
I think even the conservatives who are all about blah blah whatever excuses you're making, you're the same people, okay, that were bitching about the cops during the lockdown.
Yep, exactly. Right? And that's the hypocrisy I can't stand. You have the conservative doing that, doing a whole 180 when it comes to the power of the state being used.
Color of the skin changes. That's fucking ridiculous.
Exactly. And it's the same issue that I have with the same people that were bitching about were advocating to keep the lockdown, and all of a sudden they are for the rioting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. All of a sudden social distancing right out the window as long as there's the Molotov in your hand.
Yep. Oh man. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this a lot further and stuff like that. Sorry, I have to cut it short. But yeah.
It's okay. It was an unexpected live stream anyway. We weren't
planning it. Gotcha. I hear you. All right. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for showing up, and I really appreciate it. And we'll talk about that further. All right. So share, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need to make a schedule and stuff like that to actually, let's say, have a live stream with me at some point, then reach out to SyriEyeS. Matter of fact, you mind putting down your email down there?
I'm going to put it right in.
Yeah, so you can reach out to SyriEyeS. You shoot her an email, and then we could probably schedule something, to have a discussion. So, because I don't mind having that from time to time. But anyway, so this was the conversation that we're having, and we will discuss this further down because I think there's a lot more to say about this type of scenario that's going on. And then I appreciate it, guys. So click the like button if you're the first time here. Subscribe, and yeah, stay tuned. All right, we out of here.
Bye, everyone.
All right, take care, guys. Peace.